Furtive as adjective, being done in a secret, sneaky, or sly manner. He made a furtive glance at his watch, hoping the meeting would end soon. She was furtive in her movements, trying to avoid drawing attention to herself. He had a furtive conversation with the stranger in the corner. The furtive activities of the group were finally exposed by the authorities. The thief made a furtive attempt to steal the purse. Germane as adjective, pertinent or appropriate, relevant to a subject or situation. The discussion was germane to the topic at hand, and everyone participated eagerly. I'm not sure how your story is germane to the conversation we're having. The judge ruled that the evidence was germane to the case and could be presented in court. The company's new policy was not germane to the workers' demands for better pay and benefits. She found it difficult to stay focused on the lecture because it wasn't germane to her research interests. Humdrum as adjective, dull, monotonous, and uninteresting, lacking in variety or excitement. Tedious and uneventful, lacking in excitement or adventure. His job was so humdrum that he felt like he was just going through the motions every day. The routine was so humdrum that they decided to shake things up and try something new. The humdrum task of data entry became much more enjoyable with music playing in the background. The office atmosphere was so humdrum that employees were looking for ways to make it more lively. The repetitive nature of the job made it feel very humdrum and unfulfilling. Ignominious as adjective, humiliating or disgraceful, causing public shame or dishonor, marked by failure, defeat, or dishonor. The company suffered an ignominious defeat in court when it was found guilty of illegal practices. The politician's ignominious scandal led to his resignation and loss of public trust. The athlete's ignominious performance in the championship game resulted in widespread criticism and ridicule. The actor's ignominious behavior on set caused her to be ostracized by her co-stars and crew. The artist's ignominious flop of her latest exhibit was a blow to her reputation and career. Impeccable as adjective, beyond reproach or criticism, irreproachable, without flaw or mistake, perfect. The chef's culinary skills were impeccable, and his dishes were always perfectly executed. The athlete's form and technique were impeccable, allowing her to excel in her sport. The musician's performance was impeccable, receiving a standing ovation from the audience. The tailor's attention to detail was impeccable, producing flawless suits and dresses. The businessman's reputation for honesty and integrity was impeccable in the industry. Impecunious as adjective, financially impoverished or destitute, lacking money or funds, poor. The struggling artist was impecunious and could barely afford to pay rent. The impecunious student had to take out a loan to pay for tuition. The impecunious family could not afford to buy new clothes and had to make do with hand-me-downs. The impecunious neighborhood lacked access to basic services like healthcare and education. The impecunious entrepreneur had to sell their business due to financial difficulties. Impetuous as adjective, acting or done quickly and without thinking, impulsive, acting or done quickly and without thought or care, impulsive. The young man's impetuous behavior led him to make hasty decisions that resulted in regret. The CEO's impetuous decision to acquire a rival company turned out to be a costly mistake. The athlete's impetuous actions during the game led to a penalty that cost his team the victory. The driver's impetuous decision to speed through the intersection caused a dangerous accident. The artist's impetuous creativity led to groundbreaking work that challenged traditional norms. Imprudent as adjective. Acting or done without caution or careful consideration. Lacking wise judgment or discretion. He made an imprudent decision to invest all his savings in the stock market. It would be imprudent to drive without wearing a seatbelt. The company's imprudent spending habits led to their bankruptcy. He spoke in an imprudent manner, insulting his boss in front of everyone. It was an imprudent move to leave the car unlocked in a high-crime area. Incontrovertible as adjective. Beyond doubt or question. Certain. Undeniable or irrefutable. Not open to dispute or question. The facts were incontrovertible, despite his attempts to argue otherwise. The video provided incontrovertible proof of his guilt. The data showed an incontrovertible correlation between smoking and lung cancer. The argument presented by the defendant was deemed incontrovertible by the judge. The evidence against him was incontrovertible. Insolvent as adjective. Lacking sufficient assets to cover one's liabilities. Unable to pay debts as they become due. The company filed for bankruptcy because it was insolvent. The charity had to close down due to being insolvent. The bank had to write off the loan as a loss due to the borrower being insolvent. The individual declared themselves insolvent and unable to pay their debts. The government provided financial assistance to the insolvent business. Irrevocable as adjective. Final and unalterable, binding. Unable to be changed, altered, revoked, or reversed. Signing the contract was an irrevocable decision. The court's decision was irrevocable and could not be appealed. His resignation was irrevocable. The damage caused by the storm was irrevocable. The decision to terminate the project was irrevocable. Jaundiced as adjective. Having a yellowish tinge, especially in the skin or eyes. Yellowish in color, especially as a result of illness or disease. The jaundiced leaves indicated the plant was diseased. The jaundiced appearance of his skin suggested liver problems. Her jaundiced view of the world made her cynical and pessimistic. His jaundiced opinion of the movie was based on his dislike for the lead actor. The journalist's jaundiced reporting caused controversy and criticism. Limpid as adjective. Clear and transparent, especially like crystal. Easily understood, clear and simple. The limpid waters of the lake were crystal clear. Her limpid eyes expressed her sorrow. The writer's limpid prose was a joy to read. The singer's limpid voice filled the auditorium. The photographer captured the limpid beauty of the sunset. Loath as adjective. Disinclined or reluctant to do something. Unwilling or reluctant. Having a strong dislike or aversion. She was loath to take risks. He was loath to admit that he had made a mistake. They were loath to ask for help. He was loath to leave his family behind. I am loath to accept that this is the end. Magnanimous as adjective. Generous and unselfish in spirit, especially towards an adversary. Showing a noble and gracious spirit. He showed a magnanimous spirit by forgiving his enemies. The magnanimous donor gave millions to charity without seeking any recognition. She was magnanimous in her victory speech, thanking her opponents and pledging to work with them. A magnanimous leader takes responsibility for the team's failures and gives credit to the team for its successes. The king demonstrated his magnanimous nature by pardoning his enemies and restoring their lands. Maudlin as adjective. Overly sentimental or weepy, especially in a way that is considered insincere or exaggerated. He became maudlin after a few drinks and started crying about his lost love. The maudlin tone of the song brought back memories of a sad time in her life. She always becomes maudlin on her birthday, reminiscing about the past. The book's maudlin ending left readers feeling unsatisfied. The maudlin movie made everyone in the theater cry. Obdurate as adjective. Obstinately stubborn and resistant to change. Persistent in one's attitude or opinion despite opposition or arguments. The obdurate businessman refused to change his stance on the issue. Her obdurate attitude made it difficult to work with her. The obdurate child refused to eat anything except candy. The obdurate dictator refused to listen to the concerns of his people. The obdurate judge refused to show mercy to the defendant. Officious as adjective. Intrusive or meddlesome in offering unsolicited assistance. Overly eager or forward in offering help, advice, or services. The officious neighbor kept interfering in their affairs. The officious waiter kept coming to the table, interrupting their conversation. The officious employee kept trying to micromanage the project. The officious salesman wouldn't stop trying to sell them additional products. The officious security guard wouldn't let them enter the building without a pass. Petulant as adjective. Having or showing a bad-tempered or sulky manner. Irritable or peevish, especially in response to petty annoyances or trivial setbacks. The petulant child threw a tantrum when he didn't get his way. The manager was annoyed with the employee's petulant behavior. The actress was criticized for her petulant attitude on set. The coach was frustrated with the team's petulant reactions to criticism. The customer's petulant complaints were ignored by the store staff. Phlegmatic as adjective. Calm, unemotional, and unexcitable, especially in the face of stress or difficulty. Having or showing a slow, steady, and even temperament, free from extremes of emotion or excitement. His phlegmatic personality made him appear calm and collected in even the most stressful situations. The phlegmatic cat barely moved, even when the dog came charging at it. The phlegmatic response from the team was surprising, as they had been expected to be more enthusiastic. Her phlegmatic demeanor made it difficult to know what she was thinking or feeling. The CEO's phlegmatic approach to crisis management was seen as reassuring by investors. Level up your English. Master vocabulary, idioms, and phrasal verbs with fun quizzes. Translate meanings into 104 languages. Download now. Link in the description. Please like and subscribe to our channel.